Mix all together, 1/2 teaspoon soda, dissolved in hot water. Steam 2 hours. Hard or liquid sauce, or both. Indian tapioca pudding. 1/3 cup tapioca, 1/4 cup cornmeal, 1 quart scalded milk, 1/2 cup molasses, 2 tablespoons butter, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon ginger and cinnamon mixed, 1 cup cold milk. Soak the tapioca in cold water for 1 hour, then drain. Pour the hot milk onto the cornmeal gradually. Add the tapioca and cook in double boiler until transparent. Add molasses, butter, salt, and spice, and turn into a buttered baking dish. Pour the cold milk over the top and bake for 1 hour in a moderate oven. Lemon meringue pudding. Soak 1 cup of fine breadcrumbs in 2 cups of milk until soft. Beat 1/4 cup of butter and 1/2 of sugar together until greasy. Stir all into the milk and crumbs. Grate a little yellow lemon peel over the top and pour into a buttered baking dish. Set in a moderate oven until firm and slightly browned. Make a meringue of the stiffly beaten whites of 2 eggs and 4 level tablespoons of powdered sugar. Spread over the pudding, return to the oven and color a little. Lemon pudding. 3 eggs, 1 scant cup sugar, 1 lemon juice and rind, 2 cups of milk, 2 liberal tablespoons cornstarch, 1 heaping teaspoon butter. Scald the milk and stir in the cornstarch, stirring all the time until it thickens well. Add the butter and set aside to cool. When cool, beat the eggs light. Add sugar, the lemon juice and grated rind, and whip in a great spoonful at a time the stiffened cornstarch and milk. Bake in a buttered dish and eat cold. Little steamed pudding. Cream 1/4 cup butter with 1/2 cup of sugar. Add 1/4 cup milk, then 1 cup of flour sifted with 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a pinch of salt. And last, fold in the stiffly beaten whites of 3 eggs. Have some small molds or cups buttered. Fill half full with the batter, cover with buttered paper, and steam 3/4 of an hour. Serve hot with the sauce. New Hampshire Indian meal pudding. Bring a quart of milk to a boil, then sprinkle in slowly about 1 1/4 cups of yellow meal, stirring constantly. An exact rule for the meal cannot be given, as some swells more than others. As soon as the milk is thickened, take from the fire and cool slightly before adding 3/4 cup of molasses, 1/2 teaspoonful salt, and a tablespoonful ginger. Beat the mixture until smooth, and lastly turn in a quart of cold milk, stirring very little. Pour into a well-greased pudding dish and set in a very slow oven. This pudding needs about 5 hours of very slow baking to ensure its becoming creamy instead of hard and lumpy. The batter, after the cold milk is added, should be about the consistency of pancake batter. Serve with cream or maple syrup. Orange pudding. Take 1 cup of fine stale breadcrumbs, not dried, and moisten them with as much milk as they will absorb and become thoroughly softened. Beat the yolks of 4 eggs with the whites of 2. Add 4 tablespoons of sugar and the grated peel of 1 orange, using, of course, only the outer cells. Stir this into the softened crumbs, then beat the other 2 whites until stiff and fold them into the mixture. Turn it into a well-buttered mold and steam it 2 hours. Turn out into a hot dish and serve with orange sauce. Peach tapioca. Prepare a dish of tapioca in the usual way. Into a buttered pudding dish, put a layer of cooked and sweetened tapioca, then a layer of peaches, fresh or canned. Next add another layer of tapioca, then more peaches, and so on until the dish is full. Flavor with lemon and sprinkle 3/4 of a cup of sugar over all. Then bake in a very hot oven until a light brown. Raspberry dumplings. Wash 1 cup of rice and put into the double boiler. Pour over it 2 cups of boiling water. Add 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of sugar, and cook 30 minutes or until soft. Have some small pudding cloths about 12 inches square. Wring them out of hot water and lay them over a small half-pint bowl. Spread the rice 1/3 of an inch thick over the cloth, and fill the center with fresh raspberries. Draw the cloth around until the rice covers the berries and they are a good round shape. Tie the ends of the cloth firmly, drop them into boiling water, and cook 20 minutes. Remove the cloth and serve with lemon sauce. Spoon pudding. Cream 1 tablespoonful butter with 2 tablespoonfuls sugar, 2 tablespoonfuls flour, pinch of salt, 1 tablespoonful cornstarch, beaten yolk of 1 egg, and tablespoonful of cream. Beat well, and lastly add beaten white of egg and 1 teaspoonful baking powder. Pour over berries and steam 40 minutes. Serve with whipped cream. Squash pudding. 1 pint of finely mashed cooked squash, 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a little salt, the juice and grated rind of 1 lemon. Add slowly 1 quart of boiling milk, stirring well, and when a little cooled, add 5 well-beaten eggs. Bake in a pudding dish set in a pan of hot water, in a moderate oven, until firm in the center. Serve with cream. Steamed berry pudding. Sift 2 cups of flour with 4 teaspoons of baking powder. Rub in a rounding tablespoon of butter. Add 2 beaten eggs, 1 cup of milk, 1/2 cup of sugar, and last 2 cups of blueberries. The berries should be rinsed in cold water, shaken in a cheesecloth until dry, and then rolled in flour before adding. Pour into a pudding mold and steam 1 1/4 hours. Serve with liquid sauce. Steamed pudding. Beat 1/2 cup of butter with 1 cup of sugar to a cream. Add 2 beaten eggs and cup of flour, sifted with 1 teaspoon each of cinnamon and soda, 2 cups of breadcrumbs, soaked in 1 cup of sour milk. Add 1 cup of chopped and seeded raisins and 1/2 cup of chopped dates. Steam 2 hours and serve with whipped cream. Tapioca meringue. Soak 1/2 cup granulated tapioca in a pint of cold water for half an hour. Cook slowly 20 minutes until transparent. If too thick, add a little more boiling water. Boil 1 quart of milk in a farina kettle with a pinch of salt and the yellow rind of half lemon. Beat the yolks of 4 eggs with a cup of sugar. Add slowly to the milk, stirring until smooth and creamy, but do not allow it to boil. When thickened, remove from the fire, add a teaspoonful flavoring, and blend thoroughly. Whip the whites of the eggs to a stiff froth with 3 tablespoonfuls powdered sugar and a teaspoonful flavoring. Spread over the top of the pudding, which should have been poured in the serving dish, and set in a coolish oven to puff and color a golden yellow. Tapioca pudding. Cover 1 cup of the flake tapioca with cold water,